because I'm starting to love more in general. I love women more. I love myself more as a woman. It needs to be pink. Hey everybody, today some decks need edging. That's just what this video is going to be. I'm here with Doggy and I'm going to make probably some surprising choices, but I figured let's do it together, okay? So I have already my controversial Cave of Sybil Oracle modification. This is the extra card that I still sort of use as initiation message in the beginning. And the deck did warp and stay that way. However, no cracking sounds, so the bookbinding glue really holds up. Anyway, what I did for the people who weren't there is cut up the booklet and glued all the pages that corresponded to the cards on the back of the cards, which I love. And now I feel it needs edging because it's so gray looking, which in a way it's okay, but it feels like a blank slate to me. So I'm gonna edge it, and I think I want to do something weird. Yeah. Also, by the way, I might not film this, but I am bringing in the titles of the cards again because I did feel those titles helped me get to the message even more, which is the whole idea of putting the poems on the backs of the cards, right? So I want to make it even more easy for me to work with. I'm going to use one of these three, probably not the silver one, unless these two stopped working, because I don't use them very much. I think this one is the golden one and this one is the bronze one. They're metallic, that's for sure. And the bronze one, maybe this is the one I used on Ritual Tarot, which is of course the tarot deck that Tiara May made. And this is one of her oracle decks, right? I think she's still making new things. So yeah, I'm gonna tackle that one, and then I'm also going to edge this one, which is the multi-inverted Thoth deck. I'm not quite sure if the big version is up for sale. I'm uninformed. Sorry, guys. Anyway, these are the cards I drew today. The Aeon and the Completion, Four of Wands. Isn't this just beautiful coloration? Okay, so look at this deck, right? Very different from Cave of Sybil because this is so... The borders are dark, but all the cards are super, super bright. And the colors there just all over the place in a good way. And the backs are blue and purple. I think black won't work. It's too dark, truly. When it's dark, it still has nuance. We can see that it's a dark red or a brown, or do you see what I mean? Here, there's some black. The black is not overpowering. Then I feel looking at the backs, because that's what most of us do when we edge a deck, purple, blue, I feel that would be too much, because this doesn't feel like a purple or a blue deck. Yeah, there's also the feel. I considered edging it in this sort of orange, because there's a lot of purple in this deck, and orange is the opposite on the color wheel. That would work especially with the Thoth deck, honestly. But I thought, actually, that might be so ugly. A little too ugly even for me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do charcoal gray, like this. And I don't want it to be metallic silver. That won't work. I know that pen is too light. So I'm gonna see which one of these cheap water-based markers, they actually work well for edging most decks. Which one of these will give the color that I feel the edges should be. Yeah, I'm using just plain white paper. This is actually a stencil I made for when I was sewing colors for my dance students, but I no longer need it. So I'm gonna just use that to see which gray works best. And then I realized I didn't tell you this yet. I'm thinking for Cave of Sybil, it feels so feminine, and it is dark feminine, right? It is very shadowy. It's very confronting, confrontational. There's a lot of confronting, deep, but also beautiful messages. I feel that it's so girly for that. See what I mean? The womanhood. It needs pink and red. So wish me luck. But I think it could be weirdly amazing. Oh, yeah. What is going on? Okay. See, they have the large tip and then a normal felt tip. So I'm just gonna do all the swatches and then let them dry. Because if I remember correctly, whenever these markers dry, they tend to shift colors. They tend to shift, and you know, looking at the cap and looking at the color when you first swatch it, this looks like a warm gray and this looks like a cool gray, whereas once they dry, sometimes they switch. The cool gray turns out to be the warm one and the warm gray turns out to be more cool. So we're gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna do the same for the red, because a lot of the reds are actually much more pink, and sometimes the pink, it's not the pink we expect. So far I've done this. And unfortunately for me, but it's okay, I'm willing to take these risks today, guys. I do not have really an extra card in each of these decks to try it out, which is usually what we would do, right? Just take the title card or something and see, like, make every side different to see which one we like. Maybe I want the red and then the soft pink, pale pink, and then the one that's a little brighter, tender pink. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm just gonna go with the darkest one for the Thoth. Darkest gray, which is cool gray. Oh, wish me luck! Yeah, we're just gonna do it. It's gonna look great. It's gonna look great. I really do want to place all of these cards next to each other on the floor or on a large table so that the sides dry, properly dry. And then as you can see, I'm holding the card with the back towards me. For now, I'm just doing a single pass. We'll see what that looks like. There are actually different outcomes often when you do a quick pass or slower one. Because when in a slower one, the ink has some extra time to get absorbed by the side of the card. Also, it of course has to do with how dry the pen is. I'm getting a feeling that this one, no, it's fine. Can't really tell what I'm doing. Probably because of these lights. First 6 cards. I know that's not a lot, but I want to try this crazy creation. So my swatches, I have the red and the pale pink. I'm trying to do some sort of a gradient. Yeah, I think actually this is so cool. It's I'm trying to, I really want to say some like curse words, but they sound cute, like cunty, because I am so in that era right now. I have good female friends at the moment whom I love, and they love me. You know, like we actually are in the girl's girl era as a full grown woman. I know. It is symbolized sometimes by the color pink. Pink and red together. And then combining it with such a dark deck, but it's as a woman, you know, I feel like it's not only for women, obviously, you know what I mean. It's for anybody who finds this interesting and can work with it, this type of artwork, this type of theme. um but I feel that this is, as a woman, you would either way recognize parts of yourself in these cards. It's sort of a universal language that we understand. Am I too bright here? Let's just do that. It's maybe a little cozier. And, you know, for instance, I don't know. These are just, sometimes I think of these things, these thoughts, they just come to me, and I'm not judging others, not judging myself. Also, just in that feeling how wonderful and valuable that is. In the last video, was it last video? I think so. Well, I mentioned that I was watching Bailey Sarian Dark History on YouTube. And trust me, I watch plenty of serious things regarding history, for instance. Plenty of serious books I read, plenty of serious documentaries, plenty of serious stuff. And then there's this channel that is talking about actual events that happened throughout history, and they present it as a juicy gossip magazine. It does something to me. Yeah, I find that very entertaining and very relaxing. And the reason I'm bringing that channel up again, it's because of Bailey. Bailey is a gorgeous woman. She seems like a very nice person with a cool sense of humor, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that 2 decades ago for sure, but maybe even 1 decade ago, I would have judged her because of her appearance, because she wears quite a lot of makeup, she's artistic with it, and I don't even understand where that came from. I like to play with makeup sometimes. It's just things that other people tell us, or that the media tells us, or it's whatever, it's in the air. Why though? And why is it, more often than not, about typically feminine things? I know men can wear makeup and jewelry and dress up and express themselves in that way, but why is, for instance, the color pink, which used to be for boys, by the way, and blue was for girls, but why is that color so, in a way, controversial? I love watching another silly movie, Legally Blonde. It's about exactly that thing. This theme is still, we're not done with that theme. We're not done with that theme, folks. It's as if a woman decides to be feminine, so of course every woman is feminine, but if a woman decides to present herself in a, I guess, overly feminine manner, that she is automatically less respected. Not just by men, but also by other women. And I'm catching myself. I'm actually catching my older self, older version of myself. I realize I like everybody's individuality, and I like how different people express themselves in their own personal way. And then I realize that I did not always resonate in this way. Or is that how we say it in English? That's how we say it in French, I guess, raisonner. I mean to say, I did not always think like that. I'm pretty sure that I was judging plenty of people that I didn't even know because of their appearance. And it happens again in both ways, because I definitely was bullied at some point because of my appearance. And it was because I wasn't wearing the right clothes. freaking high school. So maybe that's where my aversion came from. And now, no judgment. No, it's not about how you look. And how you look also doesn't necessarily show your values. Just saying. I almost choked on that word, values. No, how you look, it doesn't necessarily show your values, you know? It shows that you can have fun with your appearance, with makeup, with clothes. And you know what? Designer handbags or whatever, for some people, they hate it, you know? They hate to see that good money was wasted on something so. And other people say, you don't know what that feels like. This is how I want to carry myself. This is how I want to present myself to the world. And I love it. And every time I walk out the door with that designer handbag or whatever it is that we're talking about, it makes me feel powerful. Also, people, how is that not glamour magic? It is. It is. It is glamour magic in its like simple form, I guess, but it is. Okay? And you might think, what are you talking about, Anna? Although I know most people will know. You know. I know that you know. This deck, just for that reason, because I'm starting to love more in general. I love women more. I love myself more as a woman. It needs to be pink. And I'm gonna do the gradient. How though? How? I'm not exactly an artist. Okay, so let's let's use this card with the, I think, Cherame sigil. I'm gonna just draw it. Red on the sides, or should it be red in the corners? Yeah. It's a good thing I checked because I was gonna do this one. You see, this is a card, and this would be the edges and the gradient, but I'm gonna do that one. Had to quickly change the batteries, but okay, decision is made. Let's go. Starting with the light color, maybe? Is this even gonna show up? Screwed up there. Too much red. You know, I'm just gonna stick to this deck is not supposed to be perfect in any way, shape, or form. If this fails, I can just go over it with the red or make it black anyway. You know, the way most people would edge it. I can't see what I've done. I'm gonna do a couple of cards. I know this is insanity. I'm gonna start with the red now. Let's see if that makes a difference. I'll work from dark to light now so that maybe that's easier for the placement, and I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'm back. I'm being quite messy with Cave of Sybil. It's difficult because I think the ink doesn't always get absorbed by the side of the card because I used glue and it may have gotten onto the side of some cards. However, okay, so the result is subtle, but it's okay. Like you can sort of see the vision. Do you though? Can you see the vision? I'm being messy with it. And maybe when the whole deck is done, we'll be able to actually see it better. Let me show you the progress on the Thoth. I think as a whole deck, it's looking pretty snazzy. Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna finish this up off camera. It's actually nice to have two decks going on at the same time. Very much project mode. I just wanted to add that I actually do realize that the things I just mentioned before might have seemed super random, but honestly, these are things just that come up. It's really interesting. There's actually a lot of shadow in men and women about women in general. These are the realizations that I'm having more and more because I'm team women, you know what I mean? And it's not women versus men, it's everybody together, but we need to be a little bit more team women. You know, we need to be a little bit more the team that deserves to have the a voice that's as loud as the other team. Did this make sense? I don't know. I will just show you in the last bit of footage what the decks ended up looking like. I have a feeling the Thoth is gonna look good, okay? No issues there. And Cave of Sybil is gonna look um, handmade. Check it out, guys. This is what it looked like. It's gray with a bit of blue and green in it. I really like it. I think it's perfect for such a colorful deck. And this is what Cave of Sybil ended up looking like. It's only half the deck. I didn't get to finish it yet. Anyway, as I'm showing you this, I wanted to share that I realized that what I shared in this video regarding why I felt Cave of Sybil needed to be edged in pink mostly highlights some sort of traditional or, typical feminine energy, even though there may not actually be such a thing. However, for the viewers who may question my point of view, let's stop pretending like we don't know what I'm talking about. I really needed this, to me, feminine deck to have that, sort of typical girly side. And I got carried away in my thoughts about appearances and glamour magic, etc. But I think it's okay. However, to me, I can tell you that it's part of a deeper process. It's symbolic of my personal healing regarding appearance and confidence. So that's what that symbolizes. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.